I'm legally insane. And today I'm wearing a pair of adult diapers, like I do every day. Who wouldn't wear a pair of adult diapers when you got all these retro games behind you? And today I'm going to be telling you how the internet ruined gaming.
That doesn't make sense.
Now, hear me out. Yes, I'm aware the internet brought a lot of great things to gaming, and I'm going to talk about some of those things. But it also killed what made gaming special. This is something that the OGs, they're going to understand, but the younger generation never got to experience this. And they never will, because times have changed in this new modern era where the internet killed gaming. We're going to be doing a deep dive on this subject, and I'm going to be going deeper than I was last night in John Bunday's Mother. Let's get started. Guys, there's no script here. I have a couple of dot points. That's it to try and keep me on track. There's a few subjects that I want to talk about. But let's start with number one, the top heavy hitter. This was the magic of gaming back then. The social side of gaming before the internet. This is what the internet killed. And hear me out, because like I said, I know there's some positives here too. Let's start with number one. Okay, before the internet, gaming was very social. And I know that with the internet, it's social as well. But pre-internet, it went beyond. It was so social that even nerds would befriend jocks and vice versa. The nerds, the jocks, the goths, the retards, everyone would get together and they would become friends and they would bond over gaming. There's no internet, which means if you wanted to play the newest, hottest game, or you heard about some new game, oh, did you hear? Jimmy's got a game called Dragon Slayer. Oh, wow, that sounds cool. Whoa, Jimmy's got one? Jimmy the nerd? Whoa, let's go over to Jimmy's house after school. Hey, Jimmy, let's go on the playground, go talk to Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy sounds cool. Jimmy, what's Dragon Slayer about? Can I come over and play it? Can me and Tom come over to your house, Jimmy? And we want to try Dragon Slayer. So that was how you found new games. And that's what brought people to hang out together after school. They bonded over these games, and it could be any game. You know, you may be wondering, why would the jocks want to play Dragon Slayer? Okay, well, maybe they don't want to play Dragon Slayer. Maybe they want to play... I'll show you a good game. Maybe they want to play NFL Fever. Because I had this game. I had experience with this game. And I had a good friend of mine. We were better friends when we were younger, but we were kind of polar opposites. This guy was the dumbest kid on the block. In fact, he had to drop out of regular high school and go join the retard high school that was actually for retards. Literally for retards. I'm not exaggerating. Because he was dumb, but he liked sports games. And me and him would bond over that. He would come over to my house and we would hang out. And he was like the cool kid. He was the cool black kid. He was good at basketball. He's good at very athletic, very tall, athletic. Very popular for that reason. And, you know, me and him would hang out. And we would bond over games like NFL Fever. For the Xbox, OG Xbox. And it's not like he only played sports games, because that was also part of the bonding. When we would get together, I might show him a couple of games. Hey, man, did you ever play Double Dragon? You want to play some Double Dragon with me? Me and him played Double Dragon 3, NES. You know, he wasn't as good as I was, but he had fun. He would play some of these nerdy, more what he would think was a nerdier game. He might even watch me play an RPG every now and then. Another experience I had, hanging out with the bad kids, the dumb kids. Dumb kids like to play football games, skateboarding games. That's what they were into. Tony Hawk. How many kids do you know that were into Tony Hawk? A lot of them were, you know, the type of kids that your parents wouldn't want you hanging out with. And we bonded over Tony Hawk. That was a big game back in the day. N64, PlayStation 1. That brought all the kids together. Everybody played Tony Hawk. NBA Jam, everybody and their mother played NBA Jam. Ken Griffey Baseball, Super Nintendo, you could bond with anybody. Nerds like Ken Griffey, retards like Ken Griffey, and the dumb jock guys, they like Ken Griffey too. Everybody liked Ken Griffey. If you didn't like Ken Griffey, we'll beat the hell out of you. I'll beat you up right now. You imagine some kid coming over? Who's Ken Griffey? Oh, that doesn't sound like a good game. It's baseball. You might not make it home, buddy. And we also bonded over consoles. Sega versus Nintendo, 90s console war. And you might be thinking, well, that caused a lot of friction too. There's kids fighting over Sega versus Nintendo back in the day. And yes, that is true. I was the majority. Most of my friends were Nintendo kids. Just the way it was. We didn't know too many Sega kids. And it just so happened that the Sega kids that I did know, they were not very cool. That was my experience back then. And we beat those kids up because there was a war going on. But that said, we still bonded because you know what? My one friend that had a Sega that I beat up sometimes because he had a Sega. And but I was jealous. He showed me, hey, you like RPGs? We would talk about that. He's telling me about Phantasy Star. Holy hell, that blew my mind. I never got to play it. But wow, he would tell me about the spells you could cast, and that we'd find like the Final Fantasy equivalents. I'd say, Fire 3. We would have Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, Lit 1, Lit 2, Lit 3. Those are your lightning spells. Fire and lightning, just number 1, 2, 3. Final Fantasy kept simple. He might tell me, but in Phantasy Star, it's called Fire Blast. And instead of Fire Blast 1, 2, and 3, it's got a whole new name. I don't know. Meteor is number 3, right? They're similar. And then he would tell me about Shining Force, and I borrowed his Sega one time. And I gave him my Super Nintendo. We traded, because that's another thing, social aspect of it back then. Borrowing and trading, that was a huge thing. And that would bring kids together too, kids that you wouldn't normally hang out with. We would trade. I'd say, I traded my entire console sometimes, right? But you'd borrow a game. Hey, man, he would want to borrow NFL Fever, maybe. Right? And I'll say, okay, well, for NFL Fever, I'll take your Diddy Kong Racing. That's a fun game. And we'll trade for a week or 2 or 3, or maybe even a month or more. Or maybe it's a week at a time, and then we'll switch game. We'll give the games back and switch up. What else you got? I'll give you Fusion Frenzy for your Halo. Now, how about couch co-op gaming? That's a huge thing that just up and disappeared. When you're hanging out with these kids, you're also doing couch co-op gaming, and that is different from online, and it's better. Okay, because I know what you're immediately going to say, well, you can play online with friends. You don't need to be in the same room. But what you don't get is being in the same room is an entirely different type of experience. Local multiplayer meant actual laughs, snacks. Snacks was a huge aspect of it. Snacks and root beer, beverages, Kool-Aid with way too much sugar. I would load that thing up like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's a miracle we didn't die. But man, it tastes good. Green Kool-Aid, oh, it was so good. You load that thing up with sugar. In-person trash talk, it's different from online. When you're online, you can kind of take it personal. And I'm telling you, when you're in the same room together, it's not personal. You're not going to get upset. You're not going to get rage baited. When you're in the same room together, it's different than having a headset on. Now imagine playing a game like Fusion Frenzy, 4-player, in person, but online on a computer. It's not the same. Even Halo. I mean, this was a classic back in the day. I wasn't too into Halo because it never beat 007 for me. That was always peak gaming. I mean, Perfect Dark and 007 all day. All day. Proximity mines in the complex all day, 24/7. Has to be the complex. Although sometimes the bunker's funny too. The bunker's a good level to play too. That's a funny level. Bunker's a funny level. Man, I'll tell you a quick story. And maybe this is co-op couch gaming. You're not going to experience this anywhere else. What was funny about proximity mines in the bunkers, you remember one of the spawn points was out in that hallway with the snow outside. And there's only one way in, and you have to go through a door. One hallway with a door. So what you do is you just obviously put proximity mines on the door, if not in addition to the spawning location. But the person who spawns doesn't have a weapon. They just got their slappers only. So by default, they have to run out into the snow and look at the ground so that the other player doesn't know where they are, because you can look on everybody's screen, right? Screen cheat. That's what you do. It's part of the game. So he's got to hide in the snow somewhere in the corner somewhere, duck down, and then he's got to look on your screen, the other player's screen, as they come out looking for him with their AK-47 or whatever weapon they got. And then you're going to have to like watch when they get close to you so that you can pop out and try to slap them to death. And it was fun. That's the way it was. That's the way it was. Couch Co-op Gaming. Smash Bros. Let's go through some of these couch co-ops. I mean, Smash Bros never gets old. GameCube Smash Bros. The Blitz. This would be a good game to play with your jock buddies. Nerds and jocks could get together, have a great time. Hockey jocks could bond over hockey games like Wayne Gretzky. Gauntlet Legends, you get in fist fights because some idiot friend shot the food. Quit shooting the food, you retard. I'm low on health. Low on health over here, you're shooting the food. Or maybe he takes the food on you. Oh, that'll drive me nuts too. That's like Streets of Rage 2. Somebody eating the food on you? I got low health. Why are you eating the food for? You want to get in a fist fight? I got into fist fights. WCW Revenge, great 4-player game. Even when you die, you're still in the game. You're trying to grab their feet in the ring. And you bring him out of the ring. And then you beat the hell out of him with a steel chair. Unbelievably fun. You get the guy who screwed you over. 4-player free-for-all matches. That's how it's done. And it doesn't always have to be 4-player games. It can be fun 4-player games, 2-player games, Hexen 64, 2-player campaign, or multiplayer. I was real cheap with that one. You pick the cleric, I think it was. And once you build his super weapon, it's over. GG. He basically shoots a homing ghost that can fly throughout 75% of the map and just automatically hunt down anyone within a range of 75% of the entire map. I was super cheap in that. Dang, that was cheap. I mean, who remembers Street Fighter 2? I had the whole neighborhood would come over and play this game, pass the controller game. That's another thing. A lot of pass the controller games could only be experienced with couch co-op. You couldn't do this online. Get 10 friends online and let's take turns doing Street Fighter 2 matches. That's not the same. It's not the same as spectating everybody in a chair, sitting on the floor, eating snacks, drinking A&W root beer, Barks root beer with the caffeine, with the bite. Mug root beer, Coca-Cola, whatever you want. Kool-Aid, iced tea, whatever you want. And the potato chips. And my one friend would always eat potato chips. That son of a bitch, get all his hands all greasy, refuse to wash his hands, and get the controller all greasy too. The little bastard. Oh, that used to piss me off, but it was all fun and games. I had a good time. I look back on it with fond memories. Look at how greasy that controller was. It's just a layer of grease. And it wasn't just the couch co-op games either, or couch multiplayer games. Blades of Steel, that was a fun one. I'm trying to get some extra generational games in here for you. NHL 94 was king of the world for a time. And again, you could pass the controller and watch people face each other. Jeremy Roenick, Chicago Blackhawks. Joe Nieuwendyk, Wendell Clark, Toronto Maple Leafs. He wasn't all that good, but he was my favorite player at the time. Wendell Clark, number 17. Ed Belfour, probably the best goalie in the league at the time. Patrick Waugh, When he played for the Canadians, King of Dragons, you could play beat 'em ups together. But it wasn't just about the co-op. I want to mention how gaming was also an experience where you'd go over to a friend's house and you would just watch them play. So let's talk about point number 2. No, actually, before we get to point number 2, I want to mention that talking with kids and bonding over these games also occurred on the playground and even over the telephone. You might phone your friend up and ask him, "Hey man, how do I beat Zelda?" It could be any Zelda game. "Hey, I'm stuck on this one part in Zelda. Does anyone, hey, Jimmy, do you know how to beat this part?" And Jimmy might say, "No, I don't know how to beat that part. I don't have Zelda." Why don't you give Brad a call? That son of a bitch knows how to beat every Zelda game. So you call up Brad and he knows, or you talk to him at school the next day. And then next thing you know, 10 kids are huddled around talking about Zelda. You're talking about Final Fantasy games. I remember talking to my friend Brad about, he had Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy. I only had number 1. But I wanted number 3 so bad he would tell me about it. So I never even got to play it or even see it. But I would talk to Brad about all these games that he had that I never had, and he would just tell me, and I would just visualize the game. He was telling me you could get a spaceship in that game. Holy hell, I blew my balls off. I had to take a week off school for that. I brought a gun to school. They tried to lock me up. I blew my balls off right in front of them. I put the 6 bullets in the chamber right in front of this guy, as he's telling me about this spaceship that you get in Final Fantasy Legend 3 for the Super Game Boy. Oh my gosh, dang. Crazy game. To this day, I still haven't even played it. I've never even seen it. Never even seen the thing. So point number 2 I want to say is that before the internet, going to a friend's house to game was equivalent to modern day Twitch and or YouTube. So yeah, YouTube is great, but before YouTube existed, watching people play games would happen by just going to your friend's house. I would go to my friend's house all the time. Yeah, I'm there to play 2-player games, but he's just chilling, right? We didn't have anything else to do as kids. He's just chilling. He doesn't want to play 8 hours of 2-player games. I'm coming over to his house. I'm invading his space. So if he's playing Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3 for Super Nintendo, he's just going to keep playing his game until eventually he gets bored, and then we'll play some 2-player games after. But I would watch him play whatever games he had. In some cases, he rented a game. I remember when he rented Bart's Nightmare, Simpsons Bart's Nightmare. Very cool game. I never got to play it. I just got to watch him play. It was a rental. So, of course, he's got to get his money's worth. He's not just going to stop playing because I show up. So this was equivalent to like a modern day Twitch. And it's not like I didn't enjoy watching. It was interesting. That's how you saw new games. You'd go over to friend's house, even the single player games, and you would watch them play. And you would comment, just like you comment on Twitch. Instead of typing it in, you comment in person, like, "Hey, watch out for that. Hey, did you see that secret over there? Oh, I saw something over there. Hey, shoot that guy. Shoot that guy." Whatever it is, playing Grand Theft Auto. Encourage him to steal more cars. Get his threat meter up, so that the cops get 5 stars, so that the cops come hunt him down. Because it's funny to watch and fun. He didn't like it, because then he would die. But it was fun watching somebody play Grand Theft Auto for the PlayStation. Having 69 cop cars go after him. See how long they can survive. You know, nowadays we find out about all these new games on YouTube for the most part. The internet, but mainly YouTube. There's people that aren't on IGN's website getting email notifications. It's you load up YouTube and the YouTubers are talking about whatever the new thing is, whatever's coming out. Nintendo Direct, we have those type of things too. But back in the day, we didn't have that. So your YouTube equivalent was going to the video game rental store, because they would get all the new releases. You go to Rogers Video, Blockbuster Video, Jumbo Video. You get your bag of popcorn and you browse the games. And you'd find all the new releases, but it's not just the new releases. You would also find the hidden gems, because nowadays we find the hidden gems on YouTube. Back then you had to go to Jumbo Video, Blockbuster Video, and find them yourself and rent them yourself. or you'd hear about it. A friend would say, "Oh, I rented X-Men Mutant Apocalypse for the Super Nintendo. That's a great game." And you'd say, "Oh, frig, yeah, let me rent that one." "Oh, what'd you rent last night? Earthworm Jim? Oh, that sounds fun." Even in the modern, that continued on till like '09. Kids renting Xbox 360 games. You know, they might rent Saw. "Hey, I rented Saw last weekend. It was so super fun. It's not actually a garbage movie title." And then word would spread. The other kids would know, "Oh, wow, that's actually a good game. Like, I thought that'd be garbage like every other movie title." No, it's a good game. Konami game. Interesting, fun puzzles. Talking to kids at school was your YouTube. Remember talking to my friend Brad telling me about this Final Fantasy game? I'm just visualizing it. I'm absorbing it. Same as I would on YouTube. The review that I watched was a social event. Me talking to friends and me meeting new friends. Me talking to Billy down the road because Billy got Bushido Blade #2, and I only had Bushido Blade #1. But Billy's got #2. Did you hear? Hey, Billy, tell me about #2. What's new? What'd they add to this one? What's the difference between this one and #1? Should I buy it, Billy? And Billy will tell you all about it. Heck, maybe Billy's got Frantic Flea, and you ask him, "Is it any good? Is it worth buying? Should I ask to get that game for Christmas?" And Billy tells you, "Hell no, this game sucks. My mother bought this because my mother's a retard." Maybe it was in the discount bin. Maybe it was used for cheap. What Billy really wanted was Zelda. Mother screwed him. I want to mention one other thing about couch co-op gaming that I almost forgot. This is the most important thing. Something about couch co-op gaming you cannot replicate. And this might sound like it's a bad thing, that it's a negative, what I'm about to tell you. I'm going to use Diablo as the example. Diablo is a 2-player game on the PlayStation 1. It's not split screen. You share a screen, so you cannot go beyond the edge of the screen. It doesn't zoom out like these modern Mario games. You are locked in. So if I'm on one side of the screen, you're on the other, and none of us is moving in the same direction, we can't move. This is one of the best 2-player co-op games ever made. I had time in my life with this one. You can save your character on a memory card, bring it over to your friend's house. Me and all my friends had characters all saved on memory cards. And in some cases, your buddy might not even have a PlayStation, so you save his character on your memory card. And this is what I call a friendship-destroying game. Quite literally, I'm not exaggerating. You need to understand this. I'm going to tell you a true story. This actually happened multiple times. I'm going to tell you a couple of true stories. I almost killed my friend once or twice. He almost killed me. I still have the scars to prove it. This game will result in a fist fight every single time you play it. I'll tell you how it starts. The reason you'll get into a fist fight is because friendly fire is automatically on. You cannot turn it off, and it's very difficult to not hit your friend. You're casting spells and you're shooting arrows. I was the rogue. Most of the time, my friend was the warrior. So the warrior, it's harder to hit your buddy if you're the warrior because he's traditionally not casting very many spells, and he's just up close smacking the skeletons with his sword. But when you're the rogue, you're attacking from a distance, and there's an auto-aim mechanic that just kind of selects the next closest enemy. But if your buddy gets in the way of the arrows, he's going to get hit. And also, you're spamming the shoot button, so you're going to shoot a couple arrows even after the enemy finally dies. And your buddy's probably going to walk into that fire by mistake at some point. He will get hit by those arrows. And or those spells. Same with the spells, but the arrows is how it started with me. Maybe the first hit, he'll let it go. He'll drink a healing potion. But once he gets hit a second time, that's it, man. You're costing him resources. And maybe he even thinks you did it on purpose. So then you come up with an agreement, and your buddy says, "Okay, You did like half my health damage. I had to drink a greater healing potion. Now I get to hit you. So maybe he walks over, he smacks you with his sword. And maybe it doesn't do quite as much damage. You're above half health. So he smacks you again. He says, okay, I get to hit you one more time because I only did 25% damage. Then he gets a critical hit or something, and it brings you down to 40% health. Well, now he did more damage to you than you did to him. So now you're pissed off. So then you say, okay, you did more damage, so now I get to hit you again. And then it escalates from there. I'm dead serious to the point where somebody dies. And when you die, it's serious business. All your loot goes everywhere all over the floor. Everywhere. And you ain't getting it back either. It's over for you. Unless he resurrects you, town portal scroll, you get resurrected, you can go back and get your stuff. On a good day, that's what happens. On a bad day, he loots you. And that's the end of it. Oh, man. Or I mean, maybe that's not the end of it. You can't do nothing about it, but then a day later, an hour later, a month later, you get your revenge. When he least expects it. Now, I'll tell you the best story I ever had about this game. One of these battles, I had a charge wand, I think it was. Charge wand would shoot these 3 little sparks around and they would bounce around. It looked better on PlayStation 1 than it did on PC. I think it worked a little different maybe. But you couldn't control the direction that they went. They just kind of bounced around in 3 different directions. And they kind of, they would zigzag around. No prediction on which way they're going to go. And I hit my friend a couple of times. Or maybe he hit me or something with an arrow or something that pissed me off. All I remember is that I had a charge wand in my hand, and I started shooting it off because he was pissing me off. I was hoping it would hit him, and he caught on. He realized what the hell was going on, and he was low health too. I was killing him with the charge wand, killing that son of a bitch. I was ready to kill him. I don't know. Maybe he stole some of my loot or something. Stole some items, some gold that I wanted from some of the monsters we killed. But I was literally chasing him with the spark wand. And he was running for his life. He's sitting right beside me. He's not only is he running for his life in the game, but he's begging me for mercy in real life, sitting right beside me. He's basically in tears. And I thought it was funny, but also I was mad. Like I was pissed off, so I wasn't stopping. So we, one step further and we're about to get into a fist fight. Now, I'll admit I secretly didn't want him to actually die. He only had a sliver of health. One more hit would have killed him. I was hoping he would dodge it. I didn't actually want to kill the guy, but I was pissed off. So, and I look back on you may be thinking, well, that doesn't sound very fun, but it is fun. I look back on these with fond memories. These were good times. You can't replicate that because the person ain't beside you. So the last thing I want to talk about is how the internet took the soul out of gaming. But first, we got to talk about some of the good of the internet. So there were good positive aspects to online gaming. I played Ultima Online during my prime gaming days, and we had 8 kids eight of us playing, 8 friends. And some of these were friends of friends. So I gained more friends. Not online friends, these are real friends. I gained more friends through other friends through sharing the love of this game. And we would be on the phone, 8 of us. No Skype. The internet existed, but it was still primitive. So we did telephone talking, and you could continuously link multiple 3-way calls until you could get an unlimited number of people. And some of these kids had free 3-way calling. We would get 8, 9 of us on the phone, all coordinating in this game and just dominating because we were unstoppable because of our communication skills. Nobody could compete because of that coordination. We're doing these PvP big battles, and because of our communication that no one knew that we had, we were literally unstoppable. So that was a positive. Nothing negative is to say there. Even StarCraft. I gained friends of friends just playing StarCraft. Like, hey, you want to play 4 4-man free-for-all in StarCraft? Hey, you got any buddies that can come join us? Oh, yeah, my friend Phil. My friend Phil's going to join us. I'll get my friend Phil on. He's pretty good at StarCraft. But there's also a lot of bad negative that came with that, such as a lot of rage baiting, literal friendship destroying rage that somehow came about with the internet. Counter-Strike, that type of game. Just people rate Dota. Try playing Dota and League of Legends with your friends. Yeah, it's fun sometimes until it's not. Counter-Strike's fun until you lose 69 games in a row. Try going 0-69 in League of Legends and tell me if you're still friends with those same people. Because you're not going to be friends and you're not going to be playing any more games together. I can tell you that. Those games are cancer. Something about some of these online games, they just become nothing but cancer. It's not the same experience. People take it too seriously. All of a sudden, you've got this online record. Maybe it's tracking your record like StarCraft. It's tracking your wins and your losses. You got some stupid online rank. Counter-Strike online rank or League of Legends online rank. You're trying to rank up. So all of a sudden, when you lose, it means something. And it's negative. And it's too serious. Whereas back in the day, if you lose in a game of WCW or GoldenEye 007, it's not serious. It's all fun and games. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's having a good time. You lose a match in Bomberman, nobody cares. You win a match in Bomberman, nobody cares. As a matter of fact, it can be a net negative. Because after you win the whole series of 3 games, whoever won gets to become Golden Bomberman. And he gets additional perks with that. So the smart people team up on him. Which adds to the fun factor. None of these games were serious. You could be 0-69 in Bushido Blade. You ain't killed your friend one time. And you're having the time of your life. There's no record. There's no permanent record. Just having fun. That's all it is. Other negatives of the internet? How about DLC? Microtransactions. We didn't have that. When they came out with Top Gear 2, the game was already vetted. They play tested the hell out of it. That was part of game development back then. Most of these games came out dang near perfect. Do you think they had patches for Final Fantasy VII? The RPG that put all Final Fantasies and RPGs on the map? The game that even the jocks and the normies were getting into RPGs because of this game? Do you think they put in a patch to make it playable 6 weeks after it was released? No, there was no patches. There was no DLC either. They didn't not give you half the game that you knew dang well they already programmed before they even released it. They didn't say, oh, by the way, if you want the rest of the game, you got to pay $7.99, $6.99, $20. I mean, it could be anywhere from $1 to $20. They didn't do that. And when you pop the disc in, you don't have to download 200 gigabytes. You don't have to wait 2 hours to play. You get your new Madden game, your new hockey game. You put your Madden football in and you just play. You don't come home after school or from a hard days of work and say to your son, hey son, I got the new Madden 99 for the N60 or Madden for the PlayStation 5. Let's play. And you pop Madden in and all of a sudden it says you got to wait 45 minutes for a download to finish just to play it. We didn't have to deal with that. Whereas nowadays, they'll just straight up give you a broken game. It's not even done. And it might even legitimately be broken, like when Cyberpunk first came out. There's problems with that one. Or was that No Man's Sky? Like, game wasn't even complete. Not even close. You didn't get what you paid for. You didn't get what they advertised. They didn't give you. But you know what? When they advertised Zelda Wind Waker, you got what you paid for. It was ready to go from day one. was a masterpiece right from day one. I remember going over to my friend's house, just like I said, early. This was YouTube back in the day. Or YouTube was super popular. You don't even think it existed yet, as a matter of fact. But I watched this game at a friend's house. That was my Twitch. That was my YouTube. I said, wow, that game looks cool. It didn't appeal to me too much, though. You know, the art style took a little bit of getting used to. It was different. So those cel-shaded graphics was different from Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Gaming before the internet was simple. Not only were the games more simplistic, that was part of it. I'm sure that helped. I'm sure that helped with the social aspect of gaming where everyone and their mother would get together and talk about games and play games together. I only played Tony Hawk because I would hang out with kids that played Tony Hawk. I never wanted to buy it, but I sure as hell had fun going over to these dumb kids' houses and playing Tony Hawk with them and taking turns and playing 2-player, passing the controller. Marvel vs. Capcom. Number 2, I was never good at fighting games, but I went to my friend's house. I played that. Passed the controller game. The games were simple. The times were simple. No internet. It brought people together instead of just keeping friends connected. There's a difference. The internet, you're connected. You can message your friend, but it didn't bring you together. It didn't really build the same bond that you would get going over to your buddy's house and beating a game on 2-player. Imagine completing a game on 2-player for the first time. Where's King of Dragons? I beat this game with a buddy and I'll never forget beating that game. I couldn't believe we did it. What an incredible night that was. And maybe there was some pizza involved. Maybe there was a sleepover involved. You ever had a sleepover? 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends, staying up all night gaming, ordering pizza because Domino's would deliver up until 3 a.m. 1 a.m. comes, you're getting hungry. 2 a.m., they're closing in an hour. You call them right now, they'll still deliver it. They'll get it over to you. Domino's Pizza, 3 a.m. pizza deliveries. And just gaming all night. That's magic that you'll never have. Couch co-op. None of this online connected stuff is different. It's not the same. Gaming was about bringing people together, bringing jocks and nerds together, meeting new people, meeting new friends, lifelong friendships forming because you both have a passion for Final Fantasy, or you both have a passion for RPGs. Or maybe you got into an epic battle in Gemfire, a final showdown. And maybe one of you punched a hole through the wall. Because my friend did that once. We were playing Risk. He punched a hole through the wall. His mother was away. I think she was away for the night or the weekend or the week or something. He was home alone for like a week for some reason. And he punched a hole in the wall. He got so pissed off, he punched a hole right through the wall. And then he tried to cover it up with paper. He tried to like tape some paper on it, hoping his parents wouldn't notice. I'm sure he got into a lot of trouble for that one, but those are moments that you don't forget. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 games. And if we ever get to 9,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a real good subscriber special. I'm going to show every single Super Nintendo game that I own. Every single one. Every single one. Gemfire's got good music, by the way. Great music. And I want to give a shout out to all my Patreon supporters. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please smash the like button, leave a comment below. Please consider joining the Patreon as well. I do post exclusive content. I post exclusive episodes. I do that to show my appreciation to people who support the channel. Your support keeps the channel going. If you enjoyed the video, write a comment below. Algorithm's probably not going to pick this one up, but I'm hoping some core supporters, some OG gamers, the ones that grew up in the 90s, they might appreciate this for what it is. They might understand what I'm saying. That the golden age of gaming, the golden era of gaming, the internet ruined everything.
In the 90s, the console wars were intense. Nintendo and Sega both with immense influence. From Super Mario to Sonic, the rivalry was real. Each fan defending their console with zeal. Through cartridges and discs, the battle ensued. Choose your side, pick your weapon of choice. Nintendo or Sega, listen to your inner voice. Button mashing high scores, the thrill of the fight. Console wars blazing, lighting up the night. 8-bit melodies to 16-bit graphics so bright. Nintendo's classics, so Sega's speed of light. From Donkey Kong to Streets of Rage, memories we hold dear. The golden era of gaming, nostalgia ever near. Friendships forged in pixels, alliances to defend. Choose your side, pick your weapon of choice. Nintendo or Sega, listen to your inner voice. Button mashing high scores, the thrill of the fight. Console wars blazing, lighting up the night. Choose your side, pick your weapon of choice. Nintendo or Sega, listen to your inner voice. Button mashing high scores, the thrill of the fight. Console wars blazing, lighting up the night.